the power of silence. The art of discretion, the wisdom of keeping your aspirations close to your chest. These are the cornerstones of success that many overlook in their eagerness to share every detail of their lives with the world. Today, we're going to delve into a principle that can fundamentally change the trajectory of your life. Never tell people what you do. Now, you might be thinking, but isn't communication key? Shouldn't we share our goals and dreams? Well, let me tell you something. In this world of constant noise and chatter, sometimes the most powerful statement is the one left unsaid. Think about it for a moment. When you're planting a seed, do you dig it up every day to see if it's growing? Of course not. You plant it, nurture it, and give it time to develop strong roots before it breaks through the soil. Your dreams, your ambitions, your plans, they're just like those seeds. They need time to grow in the fertile soil of your mind before they're ready to face the harsh light of public scrutiny. You see, there's a fundamental truth about human nature that we often, for people, love to give their opinions, especially about things they don't fully understand. When you share your plans prematurely, you're inviting a barrage of unsolicited advice, criticism, and sometimes even discouragement. And let me tell you, nothing can kill a dream faster than the naysayers who are all too eager to tell you why it won't work. But it's not just about avoiding negativity. There's a psychological aspect to this principle that's even more powerful. When you keep your plans to yourself, you're creating a kind of internal pressure cooker. Your ideas, your ambitions, they start to build up inside you like steam in a kettle. And just like that steam, this internal pressure can propel you forward with incredible force. Think about the great achievers of history. Do you think Thomas Edison went around telling everyone he was going to invent the light bulb? No. He worked tirelessly in his laboratory, failing thousands of times before he succeeded. And when he finally did, the world didn't hear about his failures. They saw his brilliant success. Now, I'm not saying you should become a hermit or never share your ideas, but there's a time and a place for everything. And more often than not, the time to share is after you've already achieved something, not before. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're starting a new business. You've got this brilliant idea that you think could revolutionize your industry. What's your first instinct? For many people, it's to shout it from the rooftops, to tell everyone who listen about their million-dollar idea. But here's the problem with that approach. Ideas are cheap. Everyone has ideas. What separates the dreamers from the achievers is execution. So instead of talking about your business idea, what if you spent that time and energy actually building your business? What if, instead of seeking validation from others, you focused on validating your concept through hard work and real-world testing? I'll tell you what would happen. By the time people found out what you were up to, you'd be well on your way to success. This principle doesn't just apply to business. It's relevant in every area of life. Are you trying to lose weight? Don't announce your diet to the world. Just do the work, day in and day out, and let your results speak for themselves. Are you writing a book? Keep it under wraps until you've got a finished manuscript. Are you learning a new skill? Practice in private until you've mastered it. You see, there's something magical that happens when you work in silence. You're free from the expectations of others. You're not bound by the limits they might place on you. You have the freedom to experiment, to fail, to pivot, and to grow, all without the prying eyes of the world watching your every move. But let's be clear. This isn't about being secretive or dishonest. It's about understanding the power of timing. It's about recognizing that some things need to incubate before they're ready to hatch. It's about respecting the creative process and giving your ideas the time and space they need to fully form. Now, I can already hear some of you thinking, but what about networking? What about building connections? And you're right to ask that. Connections are important, but here's the thing. You can network, you can build relationships without laying all your cards on the table. You can be friendly. You can be interested in others. You can even be helpful, all without revealing the details of your own pursuits. In fact, this approach can make you more intriguing. People are naturally curious. When they sense that you're working on something but can't quite figure out what it is, it piques their interest. You become a bit of a mystery. And in a world where everyone is an open book, a little mystery can be very attractive. But let's talk about something even more important than how others perceive you. Let's talk about how this principle affects your own mindset. When you're constantly talking about what you're going to do, you're getting a little hit of dopamine each time. It feels good to share your plans, to see the impressed looks on people's faces. But here's the problem. That good feeling can be addictive. And worse, it can be a substitute for actually doing the work. You see, our brains don't always distinguish between talking about doing something and actually doing it. So when you talk about your plans, you can trick your brain into thinking you've already accomplished something. And that can sap your motivation to actually follow through. On the other hand, when you keep your plans to yourself, you're building up a kind of internal pressure. You know what you want to achieve, and you know that no one else is going to do it for you. This creates a powerful drive to take action, to prove to yourself that you can do what you set out to do. Think about it like this. Have you ever had a great idea for a story or a song, but by the time you sat down to write it, the inspiration had faded? That's because in talking about it, you released some of the creative tension that was driving you. The same principle applies to any goal or ambition. Keep that tension inside, let it build, and it will fuel your efforts in a way that external validation never could. Now, I'm not suggesting that you never share your goals or seek advice. There's certainly a time and place for that. But be selective. Choose carefully who you confide in. Look for mentors who have achieved what you're trying to achieve. Seek out those who will challenge you, push you, and hold you accountable. Not those who will simply tell you what you want to hear. And when you do share, do it strategically. Instead of saying, I'm going to start a business, say, I'm researching market trends in this industry. Instead of announcing, I'm writing a novel, say, I'm exploring some ideas for a writing project. This approach allows you to get input, if you need it, without fully committing yourself publicly to a specific outcome. Remember, the world is full of talkers. Every coffee shop, every office, every family gathering is brimming with people talking about what they're going to do someday. But the achievers, the ones who really make a difference, they're too busy doing to spend much time talking about it. Let's consider another aspect of this principle, the power of surprise. When you work silently towards your goals, you're setting yourself up for a big reveal. And let me tell you, there's nothing quite like the feeling of unveiling a completed project to an unsuspecting world. Imagine this scenario. You've been quietly working on a new product for months. You've put in countless hours, refined your concept, overcome obstacles, and finally you're ready to launch. Now, think about the difference between these two announcements. Hey everyone, remember that product I've been talking about for the past year? Well, I've finally finished it. I'm excited to announce the launch of my new product. Available now. Which one do you think will generate more excitement? Which one positions you as a doer rather than a talker? The second one, of course, by keeping your work under wraps, you've created an element of surprise that can generate buzz and interest in a way that a long, drawn-out process never could. This principle of surprise isn't just effective in business. It applies to personal goals as well. Imagine deciding to run a marathon. You could tell everyone about your training plan, post daily updates about your progress, and talk endlessly about your goal. Or you could quietly train, putting in the miles day after day, and then simply show up on race day and complete the marathon. Which approach do you think would be more satisfying? Which would earn you more genuine respect from others? Now, let's address a common misconception about this principle. Some people might think that by not talking about their goals, they're missing out on support and encouragement. But here's the truth, the kind of support you get from announcing your plans is often superficial. It's easy for someone to say, that's great, you can do it. It's much harder for them to provide meaningful, practical support. Real support comes from the people who are in the trenches with you, the ones who see your daily struggles and small victories. And those people don't need you to make grand announcements. They'll be aware of what you're doing through your actions, not your words. Moreover, by keeping your plans to yourself, you're protecting your vision in its most vulnerable stages. Ideas, when they're new and not fully formed, are delicate things. They need time to develop, to be refined and strengthened. Exposing them too early to the harsh light of public opinion can be detrimental. Think about a butterfly emerging from its chrysalis. If you try to help it by breaking open the cocoon, you'll actually prevent it from developing the strength it needs to fly. Your dreams and goals are like that butterfly. They need to struggle a bit in private before they're ready to soar in public. Now let's talk about the impact this principle can have on your personal brand. In today's world, we're often told that we need to be constantly visible, constantly promoting ourselves. But I would argue that there's immense power in being selective about what you share. When you're not constantly talking about what you're going to do, but instead occasionally revealing what you've already done, you create an aura of competence and reliability. People start to see you as someone who delivers results, not just. And in a world where many people are all talk and no action, this can set you apart. Think about the most respected people in your field. Chances are, they're not the ones who are constantly broadcasting their every move. They're the ones who show up, do the work, and let their achievements speak for themselves. This approach also gives you a valuable commodity in our overcrowded, noisy world. Mystique. When you're not an open book, when there's a bit of mystery about what you're up to, people become intrigued. They want to know more. And this curiosity can open doors and create opportunities in ways that constant self-promotion never could. But let's be clear, this isn't about being secretive for the sake of being secretive. It's about understanding the power of your words and using them wisely. It's about recognizing that every time you talk about your plans, you're using up energy that could be directed towards actually achieving those plans. Think of it like this. Your words are a form of energy. Every time you speak about your goals, you're releasing some of that energy into the world. But what if you could harness that energy, contain it, and use it to fuel your efforts? That's what happens when you choose to work silently towards your goals. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking, but what about accountability? Don't we need to share our goals to stay accountable? It's a fair question. And yes, accountability can be a powerful tool. But here's the thing. True accountability doesn't come from announcing your plans to the world. It comes from your own internal commitment to your goals. When you rely on external accountability, on the expectations of others, you're putting your success in someone else's hands. But when you hold yourself accountable, when you make a private commitment to your goals, you're taking full ownership of your success. This internal accountability is far more powerful than any external pressure. It's the voice in your head that gets you out of bed early to work on your project. It's the drive that keeps you going when the initial excitement has worn off and the real work begins. It's the force that pushes you to keep going, even when no one else knows or cares about what you're doing. And here's another benefit of this approach. It allows you to fail in private. Now, I know failure isn't something we like to talk about, but it's an essential part of any journey to success. When you're not constantly updating the world on your progress, you have the freedom to try things, to make mistakes, to pivot and adjust your course without feeling like you're letting anyone down. This freedom to fail and to learn from those failures is crucial. It allows you to take risks that you might not take if you were under public scrutiny. It gives you the space to experiment, to push boundaries, to truly innovate. And when you do achieve success, it will be all the sweeter because you'll know that you did it on your own terms, overcoming obstacles that no one else even knew existed. Now let's talk about the impact this principle can have on your relationships. When you're not constantly talking about your plans and goals, you create space for genuine connections. Instead of every conversation revolving around you and what you're doing, you can focus on others. You can listen, really listen to what they're saying. You can ask questions, show interest in their lives and their pursuits. This shift in focus can be transformative. It can deepen your relationships, broaden your perspective, and even open up new opportunities that you might have missed if you were too busy talking about yourself. Remember, some of the most successful people are also the best listeners. But perhaps the most powerful benefit of this principle is the impact it has on your own psyche. When you're not constantly seeking validation from others, when you're not measuring your progress by their reactions, you develop a stronger sense of self. You become more resilient, more self-reliant, more confident in your own abilities. You see, true confidence doesn't come from external validation. It comes from knowing deep down that you're capable of achieving what you set out to do. And that kind of confidence can only be built through action, through quiet, consistent effort towards your goals. This principle also helps you stay focused on what really matters. In a world full of distractions, where it's all too easy to get caught up in what others think, keeping your plans to yourself helps you stay true to your own vision. It keeps you focused on the work itself, rather than on how that work is perceived by others. And let's not forget the sweet satisfaction that comes from surprising people with your achievements. There's nothing quite like the feeling of unveiling a completed project, of showing the world what you've accomplished while they weren't looking. It's a powerful reminder that real success isn't about talk. It's about action. Now, I want to be clear, Chris. This principle isn't about never sharing your successes. Once you've achieved something, by all means, celebrate it. Share it with the world. But do so from a place of accomplishment, not anticipation. Let your actions speak louder than your words. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with this thought. In a world that often values noise over substance, choosing to work quietly, to focus on action rather than talk, is a radical act. It's a declaration that you're more interested in actual achievement than in the appearance of achievement. So I challenge you, for your next project, your next goal, try keeping it to yourself. Don't announce it to the world. Don't seek validation from others. Instead, channel all that energy into doing the work. Focus on progress, not promises. Concentrate on action, not announcements. Remember, the world doesn't need to know what you're going to do. The world needs to see what you've done. So go out there, work hard, stay focused, and let your achievements speak for themselves. Because in the end, it's not what you say you'll do that matter. It's what you actually do that changes the world. And who knows? Maybe one day, people will look at what you've accomplished and ask, how did you do it? And you'll be able to smile and say, one step at a time, in silence and with focus. And in that moment, you'll know the true power of keeping your plans to yourself. So, my friends, as you leave here today, I want you to think about what you're working towards. I want you to hold that goal close to your heart, to nurture it in silence, to give it the time and space it needs to grow. And when the time is right, when you've put in the work and achieved what you set out to do, then, and only then, let the world see what you're capable of. Because in the end, it's not about who talks the loudest or who makes the grandest promises. It's about who shows up day after day and does the work. It's about who has the discipline to keep going when no one is watching. It's about who has the courage to pursue their dreams in silence, knowing that one day those dreams will become a reality that speaks volumes. So go forth, my friends. Work hard, stay focused. Keep your dreams close and your actions closer. And remember, it's not what you say you'll do. It's what you actually do that will leave a lasting impact on this world. The choice is yours. Will you be a talker or will you be a doer? Will you announce your plans to the world or will you quietly work towards your goals? Will you seek constant validation or will you find strength in silence? I believe in you. I believe in your ability to achieve great things. And I believe that by embracing this principle, by choosing action over words, by valuing substance over noise, you can unlock levels of success and fulfillment that you never thought possible. But remember, this journey isn't about instant gratification. It's not about quick fixes or overnight success. It's about the long game, about building something sustainable, something that will stand the test of time. And that kind of success, my friends, is built in silence, away from the prying eyes of the world. Think about the great oak tree. When you look at it standing tall and strong, what do you see? You see its massive trunk, its sprawling branches, its lush canopy of leaves. But what you don't see is equally important. You don't see its vast network of roots spreading deep and wide beneath the soil. Those roots growing silently underground are what give the oak its strength, its stability, its ability to weather any storm. Your dreams, your goals, your ambitions, they're like that oak tree. The visible parts, your achievements, your successes, they're important. But it's what's happening beneath the surface, the work you do when no one's watching, that truly determines how high you'll rise and how long you'll stand. So how do you cultivate this mindset? How do you embrace the power of silent progress? Let me share with you a few strategies that can help. First, develop a strong internal locus of control. This means believing, truly believing, that you are in charge of your own destiny. When you have an internal locus of control, you don't need external validation to keep you motivated. You're driven by your own standards, your own vision of success. This internal drive is far more powerful and sustainable than any external motivator. Second, practice mindfulness. In a world that's constantly vying for your attention, that's always pushing you to share, to post, to announce, mindfulness can be a powerful tool. It can help you stay focused on the present moment, on the task at hand, rather than getting caught up in what others might think or say about your plan. Third, keep a private journal. This gives you a place to explore your ideas, to track your progress, to work through challenges, all without the pressure of public scrutiny. It's a way to be accountable to yourself, to have those conversations about your goals and plans without diluting your efforts by sharing them prematurely with the world. Fourth, find a mentor or a small, trusted group of advisors. These should be people who have achieved what you're trying to achieve, people who can offer genuine, constructive feedback. With these select few, you can share your plans and seek guidance. But remember, even with mentors, it's often more valuable to discuss specific challenges or questions rather than laying out your entire roadmap. Fifth, celebrate your small wins privately. Every step forward, no matter how small, is progress. Acknowledge these victories. Let them fuel your motivation, but do it privately. Let these small wins compound, building your confidence quietly until you've achieved something truly worth sharing with the world. Six, develop a thick skin. When you're not constantly seeking approval or validation from others, when you're comfortable working in silence, you become more resilient to criticism and setbacks. You learn to trust your own judgment to stay the course even when things get tough. And finally, remember the power of compound interest. Just as money grows exponentially, when interest is allowed to compound your efforts, when consistently applied over time, can lead to exponential growth in your skills, your achievements, But this compounding effect needs time and consistency. Two things that are much easier to maintain when you're not constantly stopping to update the world on your progress. Now, let's address a common concern. Some of you might be thinking, but in today's world, isn't visibility important? Don't I need to build my personal brand? And you're not wrong to ask these questions. In many fields, visibility can indeed be important. But here's the key. Your visibility should be based on your achievements, not your intentions. But think about it this way. Which would have more impact than talking about writing a book for a year or quietly writing the book and then announcing its publication, which would attract more interest. Constantly posting about your startup idea or launching a successful product that solves a real problem. The answer is clear. Real achievements, actual results. These are what truly build your personal brand, your reputation, your legacy. Moreover, in a world where everyone is clamoring for attention, where social media feeds are crowded with people announcing their every move, there's something refreshing, something intriguing about someone who shows up with fully formed achievements. It makes people sit up and take notice in a way that constant updates never could. But let's be honest, this approach isn't easy. It requires discipline, patience, and a strong sense of self. It means being comfortable with delayed gratification, with working hard even when no one is cheering you on. It means trusting the process, believing in yourself and your vision even when you don't have external validation to lean on. There will be moments of doubt, times when you'll be tempted to share your plans, to seek that hit of validation that comes from telling others about your goals. In these moments, remember why you started. Remember the power of silent progress. Remember that every great achievement, every innovation, every breakthrough started as a quiet idea, nurtured in silence until it was ready to change the world. Think about the Wright brothers working quietly in their bicycle shop, experiments failing again and again until finally they achieved what many thought impossible. Think about Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak tinkering in a garage, building something that would revolutionize personal computing. These achievements didn't start with grand announcements. They started with quiet, persistent work, far from the public eye. You have that same potential within you. You have ideas, dreams, goals that could change your life, maybe even change the world. But those ideas need time to grow, to develop, to become strong enough to withstand the harsh winds of public opinion and scrutiny. So I challenge you, choose one goal, one dream that's close to your heart, something that excites you, that drives you, and make a commitment right here, right now, to work on that goal in silence. Don't announce it to the world. Don't post about it on social media. Don't even tell your friends and family if you can help it. Instead, channel all that energy into action. Break your goal down into small, manageable steps. Work on it consistently, even if it's just for a few minutes each day. Keep a private log of your progress. Celebrate your small wins quietly. Push through the challenges without seeking external sympathy or support. And then when you've achieved your goal, when you've turned that dream into reality, then you can share it with the world. And I promise you, the sense of achievement you'll feel, the impact you'll make, will be far greater than any momentary satisfaction you might have gotten from talking about your plans. Remember, my friends, in a world that's obsessed with noise, with constant communication, with sharing every detail of our lives, choosing to work in silence is a revolutionary act. It's a declaration that you're more interested in actual achievement than in the appearance of achievement. It's a commitment to substance over style, to depth over superficiality. This doesn't mean you have to become a hermit. It doesn't mean you can never share your successes or seek advice when you need it, but it does mean being intentional about what you share and when you share it. It means valuing your ideas and your efforts enough to give them the time and space they need to fully develop before exposing them to the world. As you leave here today, I want you to think about the goals you have, the dreams you harbor. I want you to hold them close, to nurture them in silence, to give them the chance to grow strong roots before they face the winds of public opinion. And I want you to trust in yourself, in your ability to turn those dreams into reality through consistent, focused effort. Because here's the truth. The world doesn't need to know what you're going to do. The world needs to see what you've done. So go out there, work hard, stay focused, and let your achievements speak for themselves. To be the person who shows up with results, not just promises. Be the one who surprises the world with your accomplishments rather than your announcements. And remember, every time you're tempted to talk about your plans, to seek that quick hit of validation, ask yourself, would my time and energy be better spent actually working towards my goal? More often than not, the answer will be yes. So embrace the power of silence. Embrace the strength that comes from working quietly towards your goals. Embrace the satisfaction of surprising the world with your achievements. Because in the end, it's not about who talks the loudest or who makes the grandest promises. It's about who shows up day after day and does the work. It's about who has the discipline to keep going when no one is watching. It's about who has the courage to pursue their dreams in silence, knowing that one day those dreams will become a reality that speaks volumes. You have that power within you. You have the ability to achieve great things, and by embracing this principle, by choosing action over words, by valuing substance over noise, you can unlock levels of success and fulfillment that you never thought possible. So go forward, my friends. Work hard, stay focused, keep your dreams close and your actions closer, and remember, it's not what you say you'll do, it's what you actually do that will leave a lasting impact on this world. The choice is yours. Will you be a talker or will you be a doer? Will you announce your plans to the world or will you quietly work towards your goals? Will you seek constant validation or will you find strength in silence? I believe in you. I believe in your ability to achieve great things. And I believe that by embracing the power of silent progress, you can create a life, a career, a legacy that exceeds your wildest dreams. So here's to quiet determination. Here's to unseen effort. Here's to the power of silent progress. May it guide you, strengthen you, and lead you to heights you never thought possible. Now go out there and show the world what you're capable of, not with your words, but with your actions, with your achievements, with the undeniable results of your quiet, persistent efforts. The world is waiting to be amazed by what you can do. Don't tell them. Show them. Your silent progress today will become the success that speaks volumes tomorrow. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step taken in silence with determination and with the unshakable belief in your ability to turn your dreams into reality. Remember, the oak that grows the strongest is the one that grows in silence, its roots spreading deep and wide, long before its branches reach for the sky. Be that oak. Grow strong in silence. And when the time is right, stand tall, stand proud, and let your achievements speak for themselves. The world is waiting. Your future is calling. Answer it not with words, but with action. Your silent progress starts now. Make it count.